Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hopefully, inshallah, this is going to be the last video I record in response to Mohammed Hijab and this whole Sheikh Al-Albani fatwa situation. Hopefully, this is going to be the last one. In fact, I didn't even want to record this one, but Mohammed Hijab, he's posted at least 4 videos since Brother Omar Shatila and I posted ours, where we were clarifying what Sheikh Al-Albani had said in his fatwa, and we broke everything down in context. So 4 videos. So people are flooding my comments specifically regarding debating Mohammed Hijab. So inshallah, hopefully after this video, I can move on. People can stop bringing this up in my comments, and we can move forward. So I want to start off by saying Mohammed Hijab and I speak privately. We've been in contact privately on WhatsApp for months now. When all of this was going down on Twitter recently, we were in contact with one another. So him and I have a private relationship. I just want everybody to know that, because a lot of people might think we've never spoken. I'm ducking this debate. Why don't you talk to Mohammed Hijab? I've been talking to Mohammed Hijab for months. In fact, when I woke up yesterday morning, I saw his video, No Hate, Just a Healthy Debate, Mohammed Hijab's offer for a public discussion to Sajid Lippelman Co. I messaged him. I said, Assalamu alaikum, what do you want to debate exactly? Because to me, what is there to debate? We never said that Sheikh Al-Albani was correct in his position. All we were doing was trying to present the reality in context, because the Sheikh was dishonored. The way that his fatwa was presented, the way that he was portrayed in front of the masses was very disrespectful and dishonorable. And Mohammed Hijab himself admits this. That's what I don't understand with many of the comments. He never dishonored or disrespected Sheikh Al-Albani. Mohammed Hijab, in his own words. Let me read his apology letter that he posted on Twitter. From the letter he writes, my tweets dishonored a brother in Islam, referring to Omar Shatila, and a scholar who spent his life sharing and defending the message of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you can read the whole letter yourself, but he himself admits he dishonored the Sheikh. Now, as I said, I was in communication with Mohammed Hijab during this time, and he apologized. He jumped off Twitter. Omar Shatila forgave him. And I'm not even going to stoop so low as to share the tweets that he said. The things that Mohammed Hijab said on Twitter, it was so disgusting. It was so disrespectful and over the top that I have too much haya. I'm embarrassed for him. I'm embarrassed for myself. I'm embarrassed for my viewers to even mention them, to even show them. Those who know, know, and those who don't know should just not speak on it. So after all this madness on Twitter, we were just going to let everything go. But then he goes on YouTube and he uploads a video. And he continues to talk about the Sheikh's fatwa. And he talks about it without context. And he talks about it in a way that is still dishonoring the Sheikh. Yes, it was not as over the top and blatant and explicit and disgusting as his behavior on Twitter was. But he was still disrespecting and dishonoring the Sheikh, in that he was presenting the fatwa in a way that lacked context, that would make the Sheikh look very bad. So that was the video that Omar and I put out. It was simply to show the context. And all that Omar and I were trying to do in our video was to show where the Sheikh was coming from, to show that he wasn't this incompetent fool that he was presented to be. We never said we agreed with the fatwa. We even explicitly said, by all means, if you want to refute it with knowledge, you're free to do so. But it was done in a way that was sensationalized and that dishonored the Sheikh. So then Mohammed Hijab, he posts video after video after video, talking about the details of the Sheikh's fatwa, talking about he wants to do a debate. So again, I message him, Assalamu alaikum, what do you want to debate exactly? Because honestly, what is there to debate? If anyone who understood the entire context of what happened and what transpired, and they were able to follow along with the video that Omar and I recorded, then everything should be very clear. You can disagree with Sheikh Al-Albani's fatwa, but hopefully if you were able to follow along, you understand the context of his fatwa, you understand where he was coming from, and you understand that the way that he was presented as this fool in this sensationalized display, the spectacle that took place, was unjust and was inaccurate, even if we disagree with his fatwa, even if he was mistaken. And wallahi, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, if we're in a situation where there's Sheikh al-Albani standing there, and me and Omar are on one side defending the Sheikh, trying to explain the context, trying to make sure that he isn't dishonored and disrespected in an unjust way on one side. And then you have Mohammed Hijab with all the stuff that he said, with all the stuff that he continues to propagate, talking about this fatwa and the way that he's talking about it. Wallahi, I fear for Mohammed Hijab. I would not want to be in his position on Yawm al-Qiyamah. May Allah forgive all of us and guide all of us. So anyways, I don't want to get into all the details of this conversation between Mohammed Hijab and I, but I do want to discuss this whole issue of Sajid Lipum refuses public discussion with Mohammed Hijab. So because Mohammed Hijab, he publicly posted this video, it's time for me to publicly share some of what happened behind the scenes. So I'm not going to share the specifics of what Mohammed Hijab said, but Mohammed Hijab, akhi, you know, we had a beautiful conversation. We were getting along, we were smiling and laughing, everything was great. I said all we did was show how the Sheikh was misrepresented. The video was long because since it was public, it required a lot of context to explain and prepare the people for. We are not defending his view, just showing what it was, since people most certainly got the wrong impression and were confused. You could simply just stop talking about it and say you didn't convey his stance accurately and it'd be over. But you posted that video. Now you're posting more videos and asking for a debate. I said, akhi, I agree with your foundational premise that Albani and all scholars have mistakes, but the way you portrayed his view to the masses led to confusion and made him look completely incompetent. That's all this was about. I said, I don't see the benefit in continuing this. So this is the important part for us to all consider, because Mohammed Hijab and I, we reached a fork in the road. We reached a fork in the road where we could say, hey, you know what? We're going to squash this. We're going to make a video together. We're going to say that we respect one another and that we agree on these two main points, that shuyukh, they make mistakes. They're not infallible. But at the same time, Sheikh al-Albani, he is a scholar that deserves respect, and he shouldn't be dishonored or disrespected or misrepresented. Right? Mohammed Hijab, I was like, look, let's record this video and put it up there. We move on with our lives. Everyone lives happily ever after, inshallah. But you know, again, not to get into the details, because this is, you know, a conversation between Mohammed Hijab and I. But rather than record a video that we put together where we express this sentiment, he wanted to do a live discussion. There are other things that he seemingly wanted to talk about. I wanted to keep it short, to the point, mention these two things, and I recorded a video. I'm going to play the video that I recorded so you can see. I recorded this video, I sent it to him. I said, look, akhi, this talks about the 2 points that we agree with each other regarding. I show you respect. You can show solidarity and agreement by recording another video, saying what you have to say, agreeing with that. And then we put it up there and everyone's happy, akhi. We can move on with our lives. But Mohammed Hijab kept insisting, no, he wants to do this live Zoom call, this live interview, debate thing. And while we were still in the midst of trying to work this out, I was still hoping that he would just record his video, send it to me. I could upload it to my channel. He could upload it to his and we could all move on. Instead, he sends me a link to this video. Just out of the blue, bam, sends me this link in the midst of this conversation. So if you take that incident and you also keep in mind what Mohammed Hijab said to Omar Shatila in the heat of the moment, when Omar Shatila was challenging Mohammed Hijab to actually refute Sheikh al-Albani's fatwa with knowledge, we see that Mohammed Hijab, he lost it. He just said very egregious, inexcusable things that he later admitted, fessed up to, and apologized for. So you take all of that into consideration, along with the fact that there's nothing to debate. What is there to debate? So yes, Mohammed Hijab, I'm going to refuse a public discussion with you, but I just wanted to at least let everyone know the real reason why. It's not because anyone is afraid of Mohammed Hijab. It's not because Mohammed Hijab is right or correct in anything he's saying. In fact, anyone who's truly capable of analyzing the information, which a lot of people are not. Let's be honest. A lot of the comments show that people didn't even watch the first 3 minutes of a video before they started typing. A lot of people show that they don't understand the video, or they didn't watch the video. They don't know what's going on. So I really see no benefit to a public discussion. I see no benefit to the back and forth. I think those who are really interested in understanding what happened, they can watch the video that Omar and I posted. I think there's a lot to learn from in that video. There's a lot to benefit from if you can actually follow along, watch the whole thing, and understand. So with that said, inshallah, I'm going to end this back and forth. And in closing, I'm just going to play this video that I recorded to Mohammed Hijab that I sent to him, hoping that he would record something and send it back and we could all squash this and we could all move on. Jazakumullahu khairan wa salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I spoke with Mohammed Hijab, and for those that don't know, Mohammed Hijab and I, we've been in contact for months now. We have a relationship behind the scenes with one another. We speak to each other. We want good for one another. There's a mutual respect that we have for one another. And regarding this whole back and forth about Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah, we just want to highlight two important points so that we can all move on and we can just take these two benefits that we all agree upon. And that is, number one, that scholars are not infallible. We agree regarding this. We agree regarding the fact that there are people who go to extremes in their veneration of certain scholars. And this has been a problem. It has caused problems. To this day, it causes problems. So I agree wholeheartedly, as does Omar, that this is not the proper conduct of a Muslim to, venerate a scholar beyond his place. So we agree with Mohammed Hijab regarding that. And Mohammed Hijab agrees with us regarding this specific case with Sheikh Al-Albani, that this fatwa, the way that it was presented, it was not done in a way that showed honor to the Sheikh. It caused some confusion and it required clarification, which is why Omar and I recorded our video, just to clarify the reality of that fatwa, and to explain what the Sheikh really said and what he really meant, so that people didn't get the wrong idea and therefore dishonor the Sheikh and disrespect the Sheikh and look down upon him. So that's the key. It's having this balance. Okay, scholars are not infallible, but they still deserve a certain level of respect, especially when it comes to portraying the reality of what they've said and what they've done. So with that said, I'm going to give Mohammed Hijab the last word. My brother, Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.